Storytelling originates as far back as the dawn of speech. The Metropolitan Museum of Art estimates that oral narrations began well before 30,000 years ago, with the earliest evidence being cave drawings in Lascaux and Chaillot, France. Those simple drawings depict people, animals, and commonplace objects, with some appearing to be a story of sorts. The practice of storytelling was present even in ancient times, and yet, despite the time between ancient cavemen in France and folks in the 21st century, we are still capable of understanding the experiences they had captured through art. Art allows for a unique exchange of information that doesn't carry an expiration date. It is universal. Thanks to this unique quality of art, we are able to understand and analyze the messages from Jean-François Millet's Man with a Hoe and Joaquin Sorolla's The Wounded Foot about the human experience. Jean-François Millet was a French artist born in 1814 in Normandy, France. His parents were members of a farming community, so most of Millet's youth was spent helping his father with tasks such as plowing, sowing seeds, and collecting and dispersing manure. Millet was used to rolling up his sleeves, along with the majority of French residents. At the time, the country was undergoing many administrative and societal changes due to the developing French Revolution and the country's new constitution. Wealth had been, and still largely was, concentrated. An astonishing 10% of the population held the country's wealth and property. Millet, however, had the opportunity to study art and got accepted into Salon, a prestigious art exhibition in Paris, France. But Millet never forgot his humble beginnings. Among his life's works, Millet centered his art around the common domestic labor that he, his family, and much of France had familiarized themselves with. One such piece was Man with a Hoe. From the get-go, there's no question as to what or who the focus of the image is. Aside from the obvious, Millet chose to leave the entire canvas devoid of distractions. Despite the fact that this image depicts a man from long before anyone's time who is alive today, we can examine the state he is in and nod our head in understanding. The same stance is seen in mothers who have spent the day running after their toddlers, in professors who have spent all day reading essays from their students, and in students who pulled an all-nighter to finish those same essays. It's a feeling that persists through the passages of time. Millet's decision to place the horizon line at about halfway up the canvas also serves the viewer a generous view of the land this man has been working on. There is more for our eyes to absorb, and we're able to follow a crease in the earth where the man had been hacking away at the soil. We can point out his efforts. Millet also made an interesting decision to leave the painting devoid of much vibrant colors. This appears to be a theme among his other works as well, choosing to stick to a muted color palette. There are very few bright, vibrant, or otherwise loud colors in his work. Instead of romanticizing domestic labor, Millet instead paints it how it is. To Millet, the work of his subject was simply that, work. The Wounded Foot by Joaquin Sorolla takes on a more narrative depiction of an experience not rare amongst the common person. Born in Valencia, Spain in 1863, Millet began studying and practicing his art at the age of 9. He progressed steadily into his adult years, having opportunities to view art in Paris at one point in his life. Sorolla's other works are not far from The Wounded Foot, many capturing a beach scene. Valencia is attributed with many beautiful beaches, which became an apparent muse for the Spanish painter. Unlike Millet's Man with a Toe, there are other characters in Sorolla's work that we can see trailing off in the distance, lost in a wave. The focus here, of course, is the boy's wounded foot. This is where the narrative aspect of this painting comes into play. How did he get hurt? Did he step on a shell? With the addition of a second boy sitting and observing the moment, we can assume he's got similar questions. Then we are led to wonder about his role as the wounded boy. Are they brothers? Or could the second boy have been a stranger, only just noticing him? Without explanation, the viewer is left to use their imagination. The painting itself is very warm, bright, and inviting. Looking at the reflection of the sun on the second boy's hat evokes the memory of a summer sun hitting your bare skin, and the warmth you feel with it. It's a familiar feeling. Despite presenting a very pleasant image, the faces of the boys are not shown to us. They are just hidden out of sight. However, this was not a mistake on Soroya's part. Without needing to see their faces, the viewer can take one look at the image and understand the situation. But it goes beyond understanding. It delves into the realm of familiarity, of connection. These two pieces translate beautifully to the modern times. In Malay's Man with a Hoe, the viewer is struck with a reflection of their own humanity. While this figure in this image is one who represented a life many years ago in a drastically different society and culture, we are still able to connect to the depiction. Humanity bleeds off the campus. In Soroya's The Wounded Foot, we are yet again met with a very nostalgic feeling. The center of this image communicates an experience universal to all people. Art uniquely does not need language to communicate something, and doesn't require additions to help maintain its meaning over time. That is what keeps artists creating. We can recognize and understand that art is timeless, is universal, and can be used to communicate information across time, culture, and language.